said it's the right decision. I'll note, I think it's appropriate we're here today. The war that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras. I'm going to note to all of you, today is January 6th. There's no debate what happened. The President of the United States led an insurrection against a fair election to try and overturn that and, report both sides of this. Well, he said he really...
World, does January 6th have to do with you resigning? Well, he's not resigning. Oops, did not mean for that to slip out of my mouth. He was very clear about that later on, which we'll get into later in the video. Dropping his re-election bid. January 6th has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with the fraud that happened in your state. The only reason he brought up January 6th is because he's trying to score political points with the radical part of his base, and because, as one of my close friends has told me, January 6th has become the Pearl Harbor for the Democrats. You know, there was that meme going around last year where, guys... decision to end his re-election campaign, as well as whether or not he's going to resign, and he got caught up in a bit of word salad and made this admission.
State, there's full accountability for everybody, because I buck stops with me. I'm accountable for this, and because of that accountability, I'm not running for office again. But I have a year to continue to improve on a record that I think will stand up against anybody's, a record that has made Minnesota...
I get that saying I'm accountable is not the same thing as saying I'm guilty, but he's behaving as though they're the same thing with all this self-flagellation. Oh, I'm accountable, so therefore I'm not going to run again. He's putting himself in this savior status, as if he's taking the high road and, I'm going to stay above the mud. He's the one doing the right thing in all of this. When he's claiming he wants to be accountable, that just doesn't make sense. But even more so, he actually contradicts
who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. Others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year.